right, I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we have one addition. We have a resolution to honor Doug Hamilton that we're going to put under new business. And with that, we have the minutes of February 27th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of February 27th.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All abstain.
One abstention. Oh, I should welcome Terry Chapman, our
Yes.
newest member.
Thank you.
So, and Lewis, so returning, and Geraldine Wilson. I mean, we've
Look at
got
that, I mean,
Yeah.
whole new board.
a whole new board. All right. Okay. So then, moving on, we have bills for payment. We have warrant 19, payroll 19P, and then we have 19A, which is a gravel pit purchase and sales deposit. What would you like to do?
I would move that we approve warrants 19, 19P, and 19A gravel pit purchase and sales deposit.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Warrant 19 is for $202,722.22. And that went to fuel, Green Mountain Power payments, the printing and purchase, printing and binding of the town report, which is about $2,000. Our monthly Rescue Inc. Monthly payment, the monthly payment to the sheriff's department. There was $170,107 that was transferred into the capital fund for fiscal year 19, the previous year, or the year we're in now. And then there was VLCT passive insurance, $15,200. So, any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And with that, it's being our first meeting since town meeting. This is when we reorganize and get our house in order for the coming legislative year.
I'll make a motion that to nominate Lewis for chair, Zeke for vice chair, and myself for clerk. Can I do myself?
Sure.
Sure, that you're nominating a slate.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. Then all those.
Discussion? No,
Oh,
let's have some
discussion? Discussion? Everyone in favor of that?
Well, I have a question. So, as long as I've been on the board, there's been a, consistent chair. I know at other times the chair has changed
Mhm.
often. So my experience has been with one chair, and I appreciate that consistency. Lewis, when you were deciding what position to run for, you were really decided on a one-year position, and you were undecided as to whether you were going to continue on the board. So I just wondered how that, how you see that serving the select board as chair for 1 year, and how that.
Right, yeah, I didn't even think about it. I mean, like I said, I talked to Zeke yesterday. I told you that I talked to Zeke and asked him how he felt about it, so. And you've been on the board since you've been one chair.
Mm-hmm, right.
And we used to do it
Rotated.
it was about every year.
Mhm.
And sometimes somebody would do 2 years, and so
Mm-hmm.
it really, like I said, it doesn't matter to me how it goes, really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is just a question of consistency for the board and how that, how that serves us. Maybe it's good to have a change. I think another thing I'll say is that we Also, in my time on the board, we started with Lori as our administrative assistant, and she lent a tremendous amount of history and support, and then for quite a while we didn't have anyone, and Maria has stepped up and she's playing that role. So I feel like a lot more, Zeke took on a lot more as chair, but we also realized we were depending on Lori probably more than we should have, and so it was a good thing in the end. I remember Hugh talking about that, about so anyway, just to, you've been chair before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not a new role to you, although this is a new board and it's a new time, and there's time has gone.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, and Lori's not here to fall back on, which she was always when I was on the board. And it was nice to have somebody to fall back on, it was.
Yeah. So I'm fine supporting this slate. I'm also really glad to kind of talk about it a little bit and, hear other people's input, experience.
Right.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, good. All right.
Okay. So, I guess we'll go on to review.
If I had a gavel.
You'd hand it over.
Go find one, would you?
Take a piece of wood.
So, I guess, since I'm unprepared, we'll review and sign conflict of interest. If I get a motion for that.
Okay, I'll move that we sign the VLCT model policy regarding conflicts of interest and ethical conduct.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
This is the same one that we approved last year.
Was that the first year you guys did that, or?
No, I think we did it the previous year also.
Okay, 'cause, yeah.
So this is the one that we've been using.
Any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
So will we pass that version
Yeah,
around,
well,
or we all have
Maria
one?
has
or-
one ready to go?
Yep. Let's
Okay.
see.
Now, how about the review and sign the rules and procedures? That's a different,
Yep.
I saw that was a different one. Get a motion on that?
Okay, I'll move that we sign the VLCT model select board rules of procedure as we did last year.
Second it.
Discussion? All
Seemed to
those,
serve us well.
Yeah.
yeah, look, I read over that and I was like, oh, that's a good thing to really have, which we never had before, so. Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, we're signing that. Visitors, anybody, public comments? Hey Lou?
First, Terry, I'm Lou Sorensen. I live a half mile down Middle Road.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Louis, congratulations. I'm here to speak on appointments, and I'll be glad to wait for that agenda item unless you want me to speak now.
Anybody have any issue with Lou going right now? Go ahead, Lou.
I've been one of your two representatives to Wyndham Regional Commission for now 12 years, and it's time for me to let someone else have that opportunity. And I would say that I have enjoyed being the representative and representing Dummerston, and enjoyed the work on the Wyndham Regional Commission. And it's time for me to do some other things. So I'll be happy to continue until your appointment for the new year becomes effective. I understand that if you follow your process, that might take several weeks. And I'd be happy also to help with any transition in terms of explaining the job or the work of the commission to any candidates that raise their hands to be the new appointee. And I thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Well, we thank you, Lou, and I wish I hadn't let you speak, so you wouldn't have resigned. But, no, I thank you.
I could have waited.
Yeah, no, but you've done it for quite a few years, and do you have anybody in mind
That's
that
exactly the question
Yeah.
I was gonna ask.
that you might be thinking would be interested in?
I have a sense that a couple people might raise their hands at the right time. I'm not going to speak for them because I don't know how that will all shake out, or there may be others, and they can speak for themselves. So I would hope that you would have good candidates to choose from.
Yeah, so it's, you know, I can see why you might not want to mention the names of people on camera, but often people need to be asked. They don't just step forward. So if at some point you were willing to share those names with us of people that you know have some possible interest, we'd love to hear that.
Okay.
And again, Lou, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Well,
really
thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Wish we had a basket or something to.
No, no, no. 12 years, I'd be happy to. Take care, have a good
Thank
night.
you.
All right.
Take care.
Not going away with any gold watch.
Anybody else? You were gonna wait for some, different,
I
right?
can, whatever you would like me to.
No,
whatever
you
you'd
can
like.
wait, because I
Yeah.
don't need anybody else, I don't need anybody else resigning on us. She's like, just took the
No.
chair, now you got all resigning, okay. So we got road foreman's report, and I talked to Lee today. The VTrans annual financial and grant meeting is gonna be on Thursday, next Thursday, which, so that'd be what, the 21st at 9 o'clock. And Zeke,
First.
you've gone to that.
Yeah.
Did you want to go to that, or
At 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, yes?
9 a.m.
And if you can't, I can,
Well, I'll try to.
okay, just let me know if you can't.
Okay.
And then I'll go, Charlotte goes to that meeting, and
Yes.
Lee goes to
Yeah.
that meeting,
Yeah,
so.
and more than one select board member can
Right,
go, but
so,
But we wouldn't want more than two.
we'd have to
Yeah.
warn if
Right.
there were more than two go, but it's good to have at least one or two members go.
correspondence for information, anything anybody wants to bring up in that?
Other than Doug Hamilton, who didn't run for Lister this time, they're having a get-together here at the town office. Is it next Friday?
Next Friday, yes.
Yeah, from 11 to 2. People want to drop in and say hello.
All right.
So this Wyndham Regional Commission Mitigation Grant Program application, who's responsible for that? And it has a due date of 5/24. Are we going to be submitting it? Is it something we are required to?
That's if you're going
Submit.
for the mitigation, that's if you're going for the grant application, so
And
I don't think,
what would be the benefit to the town of doing that? Do we have a initiative?
If we had projects in mind, then we would want to be applying for that. So maybe that's something we'd sit with
Mitigation
Lee and
grant.
figure out.
Mhm.
yeah, I can talk to Lee and see if there's any that.
So it's a road thing. Mitigation has to
Right.
do with something with
Right.
the roads. Okay.
Correspondence for discussion and or action, there's nothing there. Okay, new business, gravel pit update. I met with Putney's town manager and their road foreman and Lee on Monday. And right now, we have a draft of an interlocal agreement that's, basically, it's a boilerplate. And what the lawyers wanted us to do was get together with the two towns and come up with, you know, the nitty gritty, how it's actually going to work between the two towns. So we spent about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, you know, discussing different, you know, things that we were gonna do in the pit, like stockpiles, you know, each town will have their own stockpiles. And so we don't, you know how much gravel you have and that's your pile and how much sand.
And that's
you have.
gonna get put in writing.
That's gonna be in writing.
Yeah.
So there's other little things, and, you know, once it's finalized, what we did, we came up with a bunch of them and sent it off to Larry, who is Putney's lawyer, to draw up a draft of that. He'll send it to Bob. Bob will go over it, get it back to us, and then we can, you know, discuss it, see if that's what we all want to do, and then put it out to the public. This is our interlocal agreement, and I was thinking it was pretty good that their lawyer was going to do it, and then Bob says, yeah, he's doing the interlocal agreement because I did the purchase and sales, and I'm like, well, we didn't save anything there.
So, Louis, when we discuss that, the draft that they come up with, can we make sure that Lee is here
Oh, yeah, Lee will definitely be.
in our meeting? And
Yes,
so,
yes,
okay.
yes, and he was very involved with what was going to go into that. So I mean, it was mostly his and Brian's
Yeah,
stuff that went into it. Karen and I were just there, basically
yeah,
listening and writing down
Yeah.
what
yeah,
needed to
good.
go. So it was the two
Yeah,
foremen that.
good. Because I mean, that's what'll give me confidence in it, is if Lee has confidence in it,
Right.
and so, you know,
Exactly. So that's where that is. And other than that, I mean, we're right on pace with the gravel pit for everything that we need to do has been done. And so we've got to do an environmental inspection, and so I'll talk to Lee about who we're gonna have come down there and do that for us. And other than that, we're good to go. Spring Views article due 3/26.
whoa, that's soon.
Didn't the other one just go in?
Well,
The winter one?
it just
Yeah,
came out.
Oh, yeah, but it didn't.
I know, but it takes,
There's
their deadline is like
a lead
months
time.
before. It takes that long, I guess. You and I missed the deadline putting in our
Yes.
candidate statements.
Exactly. Anybody wanna raise their hand to,
Well, what would we want it to be about? I mean, do we have a sense of what would be important to? When does it, when would it come out?
Probably May,
May?
Yeah,
Say probably May.
probably.
yeah.
Spring Views article, so that, like, yeah, probably May.
Who did the last one? I can't remember.
Hugh,
Oh,
you
Hugh did.
did the last one, I did the town report, so
Okay.
I'm gonna just sit on my hands.
it's on this one, huh?
And I think I did the previous one.
Oh,
So you've got some experience, so.
That's one way to look at it. Well, one of the things that comes to mind for me is, we often have a working session, you know, to talk about the year ahead and
Well,
goals, and
the goal
we're kind of
session,
off camera, and we have a, you know, a working session, and it would be kind of nice to have that, and maybe then talk about what our goals are for upcoming,
That would really, I mean,
That might be hard to do
Right,
before.
right,
this
unless we
deadline.
can push the deadline. I mean, if we can
I
tell
don't
them,
think
well,
we can.
gee, we have our goals meeting on such and such a date, and we'll make sure to get you an article, da-da-da, sometimes that works. But even still, it's pushing it
yeah, that's,
probably 26.
I mean, we don't even have another meeting in between now and then.
right.
so.
Right, I know, but what I'm saying,
Right, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is it something that you would mind talking to
Roger,
Roger.
to
and
get an extension,
see if
see
we-
how far out we
Right,
could.
see how far he really could push us out.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
And so maybe let's come back to that when we talk about a working session, if we wanna have that, and when we would have that.
Well, what I was thinking, just in my mind, was if we don't have another meeting, and you talk to Roger and he says, no, the 26th, is it something that you might be willing to write?
Well, I don't know what I would write about.
Well, yeah,
What
I mean,
else?
that's, we don't have any time to even talk about what to.
If we didn't talk, if the article wasn't about our goals, what else might residents be interested in hearing? Oh, I know. Jean?
Let people know that the gravel pit is going forward. I mean, that was a big question on a lot of minds. That we're in
Right.
a town meeting and don't watch the BCTV, which I
And
do.
I guess just some of the things that happened in
Town meeting?
the select board portion of the town
Yeah.
meeting. And because it was actually not a select board meeting, it was a town meeting, so it wasn't our meeting, but yeah, this,
What would be a good follow to Hugh's article relative to the gravel pit? What would be useful information?
I really
Yeah,
think,
well, yay, it passed. Both
Yeah.
towns
Okay,
passed.
and what does that mean for us now
Yes.
and what's being done?
I mean, really we're just going into the bonding process and it's just starting, so there's no more real information past
Right.
what Hugh has given in that article, except that it passed, and, what the advantages are for the town. I mean, it's gonna really,
Reiterating what the
Right.
advantages are to the town.
yeah.
Well, that sounds like an article that you would write, Lois.
Well, I saw your pen at work and I really liked it, so.
I mean, if I did an article like that, I would be interviewing other people. I'd be talking to you, I'd talk to Hugh, I'd talk to Lee, I'd talk to,
Right.
I'd gather a bunch of information about it and then
Yeah, I
I'd
think
put
that's-
it into an article.
That's what I was gonna say, Hugh would be glad to talk to you, I'd be glad to have you give me a call and just give you, where I am with it, where Hugh
Okay.
was with it.
Okay. It looks like I'm agreeing to do this. The other
Do you
thing that
want a nomination?
no. The other thing that comes to mind for me is there was a question that came up at town meeting about the budget, about workman's compensation and the budget item that was increased by quite a bit. And so there was a question about safety, about road crew safety. And I felt like that was an opportunity for us to talk about the ways that Lee follows protocols, the training that our crew goes through, all the things, all the positive ways that we support safety in our road crew.
Right.
Just get that out there, like get ahead of the, whatever. So I could include, that in this, make some references to that. I just felt like timing is everything and I'd rather say some positive things about that, specific things.
And the trainings that they do,
Mhm,
when he has to
mhm,
take them to training
mhm.
and stuff, so.
All right, I shouldn't be doing this, but I will agree to do this. And I may also speak to Roger about some time. So, all
I
right.
know,
I'll get back to you about what he says on that.
I really couldn't believe when I saw it was that date, it's like, wow. Okay. Local emergency management, and thank you very much for doing that. Local emergency management plan, the LEMP, due 5/1.
Okay, so that's it's really the list of contacts. So that just has to be updated and then submitted.
They just changed the name of it from,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So it's not really a plan,
it's really,
it's who's responsible?
yeah. it's,
I said there was a copy of
yeah,
it
Really?
in there.
yeah, I think we have 2 copies. And so they, tradition is that you begin revising it each year after town meeting, and then getting it into, submitted by May 1st. So, and Lori has usually helped out with that,
Yeah.
and it looks like, Rich Cogliano.
I was gonna say, Rich is
Yeah,
actually
put it-
doing the classes, there's classes and stuff there, but.
So is that something Lewis can fill out with Lori's help?
Lori and Rich, yeah.
Yeah.
So, take care of that. Okay. Go down to appointments. The ones that we have to do today are,
The
Tree-
tree warden is
tree
the
warden.
first one by statute that we have to do. So I would nominate, or I'd make a motion that we reappoint Jonathan Royce and Godfrey Renault to be our tree wardens.
I'll second that.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Alright. Anybody want to call them to ask them if it's something they were willing to continue to do?
I think they're probably both online. I'd be happy to just get in touch with them and let them know they've been reappointed, and that gives them the opportunity to
Right.
put the brakes on it if they want.
What happened?
No, I'm all set, thank you. I just got to, mine's still out in the truck. We got to bring that in.
I'd go ahead and make a motion to reappoint Lee Chamberlain as our road foreman.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Since we're going on that page, the first constable, I would make a motion to reappoint Louis White as the first
I
constable.
would second that.
I would accept it, but I cannot, being the select board member.
Oh, really?
As a select board member, you cannot be
Oh, my, crushed.
constable.
I wouldn't have voted for you, Louis, if I'd known that.
So remind us what the constable does, what's that role?
They remove disorderly people from public meetings.
Yeah.
They, let's see, they might accompany the health officer to deliver a health order to a property, which I was gonna talk to Louis about after this. Is dispatching injured deer, is that still on the list?
Yes.
Yeah, so sometimes deer gets hit in the road and, the game warden might not be available, and so you call the constable.
Yeah.
So they're not,
Occasionally,
Too
the
many.
animal control officer might call you, or the health
Yeah.
officer will call you and ask you to go.
hmm,
State police have asked before to have me go check out a fire that was off in the woods somewhere, so. Of course, I passed that off to the fire department.
okay, wow.
Any other ideas for someone that we could?
It's nice to have somebody that's, it really I don't know how much I really did last year at all doing it. I think there was only like 3 different things I did, but it's sort of nice to have somebody that's available. So if the health officer does need somebody to go, it's nice to have somebody that's right.
That doesn't work in Springfield, for example.
Exactly. Or even work, really. I mean, not work, but,
Has a flexible schedule.
yeah, has a flexible schedule, or out of the area, yeah, so.
Did you ever have to dispatch an animal?
No.
But somebody should be able to
Right.
Yeah,
have
Be
that
able to do
ability.
that.
that, yeah, that's,
See, I was thinking about, like Marty or somebody like that would be, you know, somebody that we could ask maybe to do that.
You want me to ask him? I can ask him.
Yeah, if you would. If we have a motion, do we wanna make a motion if you, or why don't we just ask him, and if he
Yeah,
agrees to it, then
yeah.
we'll,
I
maybe,
better
we
not
don't have to.
volunteer for too
Yeah,
much.
no, no.
Well,
Okay.
I sort of don't mind.
Okay. Well, I'd like to just mention that Lewis White served with distinction.
Okay, animal control officers.
I'll continue for, until next town meeting. And I haven't heard that Wayne's not willing to continue.
So Wayne is continuing. I'll give Wayne a call and just make sure that wants to continue,
Okay.
or tell him he is continuing.
I think what we did last year is we went through the list and then Maria, you brought us a list and we sort of appointed everybody with one
With
motion.
one motion.
Okay.
Rather than,
Ah,
you know,
okay.
doing
Yeah.
each
Great.
one
Oh, okay.
separately.
Great.
All right,
So
that's-
once we've talked to
Yeah.
people and we kind of like
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
who's
Okay.
doing it.
So, well, we wanna go through right now and just have who wants to go talk to these people.
Yeah.
So
Right,
is the way
exactly.
we did it, so.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, if there's somebody here that, you know, that we know that we can do right off, it's,
Yeah,
Right.
all right.
Like assistant town clerks, I think we have to talk to Lori about that.
Yes, yeah,
You know.
that's Lori.
Right,
Lori's
that's Lori's thing to do, we have no say in that. Select board assistant,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't mind doing that again if you want.
okay. I'll call Maria. Maria,
Yeah, I'm good.
I would move that I think we should
move
vote
that
on,
one,
move
Yeah.
that one.
okay.
So I would move that we appoint Maria as select board assistant.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Maria.
Do I have abstain? I can't vote for myself.
Yeah, you can vote for yourself, we all vote for ourselves. I'd be worried if you didn't vote for yourself. That's also a paid position, so, you know, we appoint her, but she's also an employee.
Health officer, Zeke, you said
Yes,
until
that-
May.
Willing to
that's,
continue.
yeah, that's I was appointed to a 3-year term, and that ends in May of this year.
Okay, so, and you're done in May too?
Yep.
So we have to find somebody,
Okay.
Yeah, I think there are a couple people that are interested.
okay.
Will you talk to them?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Okay, Ware Cole, Ruth Barton.
I'll call Ruth.
Okay. Townkeeper, Shorty and Ron Speck.
So Shorty has decided to let somebody else step into the limelight. I've already talked to him. So,
Okay, so Shorty's out.
and if you want me to talk to Ron Speck, I've gotta be over there tomorrow with him, with my dog, so I'll check in.
Great, and do we need 2 people?
Actually, we've never, that I know of, actually called on the pound keepers.
No,
So
that's.
one
So
is
it's just
fine.
Right.
One is
Yeah,
probably
okay,
one
okay.
more than we actually
Right,
need.
exactly.
Okay.
Inspector of, wood and lumber.
He's passed.
So is that something that the chair of the select board would be able to do, or is that a
No,
conflict?
that-
Yes, I mean, yeah.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, yes. anybody.
Okay. Let's just,
Tree warden, we already did, or Zeke is calling. Fence viewer, Ruth
Oh.
Burton,
I might as well talk to Ruth.
you might.
Same time.
Same time,
You want me to call Nelson and Harold?
sure. Okay. Wyndham Regional Commission,
so this is what Lou was stepping down from.
correct.
So I have to talk to Roger anyway, so I'd be happy to talk to Roger, and then I will ask Lou who else he thinks might be interested
Okay.
Do we need 2 people? Is that something where we have to have
Yes, we
2?
have 2, yes.
We have 2 positions on
Okay.
that board, so.
Does anybody else have ideas of who would be good to serve in that position? Or are we kind of dependent on Lou's input?
Lou is a
Lou.
real good person for that position, so I
Okay,
think if you can get something out of him,
okay.
delinquent tax collector. I can talk to Whitney and see if she, or
And
does
that's a
that,
paid position, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
does anybody know if she's wanted to continue to do that, or?
I assume
think she
that she
does.
does,
I think
yes.
she does.
Yes.
So, I'll
Check in with her.
check in with her. Fire warden,
That's until 2022.
so, yep,
Oh, so they're okay.
they both are, yep. Wyndham Solid Waste Management, we got Michelle and Lester.
I can talk to them if you want.
If they're willing to continue.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think Michelle, when she visited with us not too long ago,
I
said
think
she
said
wanted
she
to
would,
continue.
Yeah, so I'll contact Lester though and ask him.
Alright, Select Board for Emergency Management Director. Green Update Chairs, I can ask Whitney at the same time. And I'm sure Mark's gonna want to, but I will talk to him. Cemetery Committee, got Lee, Terry.
Is there a chair of that committee? Is there one person that can check in with everybody and let us know instead of us having to call 6 people?
Well, I've already talked to Lee, Janny, Shorty's off. Hugh was off last year, his name was up on here, so it's just Lee, me, Janny, and Lewis, and I didn't ask Lewis yet, are you gonna stay on?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we're all set on them.
Is 4 enough on that committee if we don't?
It'd be nice to
It
have,
would, a couple more,
2
yeah,
more people
yeah,
are coming
yeah.
on.
but
but we don't, I mean, if, it's not gonna stop everything.
thing,
Right.
you mean, you can still do it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it would be nice to have at least 1 or 2 more.
2 more, okay.
Okay.
Do you have anybody in mind?
No, I
No.
don't. I wish.
But, you know, once we make the list and approve it, we could then let people know where we could use more help. I mean,
Exactly.
Even now, we're on camera, we could let people know that on the cemetery committee, there's room if somebody's interested.
Okay, so,
Another one for Ruth.
I'll do Ruth and I'll do Harold for rescue.
Great.
okay. Community Development Program. Jack Maddox and Jack Lilly.
I can do them if you want.
Okay, great.
That's mine.
And could you ask Jack about the Connecticut River?
Yep. I might as well do Dan too.
Okay,
Yep.
great. Pam sent us a letter saying
Yep.
she was done with that.
Mhm.
But the list.
If we could only find somebody else to do that, only. if we
And
could
what does
find-
that mean to be an E911 contact person?
Why don't we ask Jean?
Just someone that the state can contact and someone that the town can contact to get the numbers for the 911, buildings. Everybody has to have a 911 number. And that's, when there's a new building put up with a driveway, it has to get a new number because, rescue and fire department need to know where.
Is it allowed to be the town clerk? Sounds like a great job for Lori.
Oh, that, the listers,
Well-
If
the listers are
the
willing to
list,
do it.
yeah.
I had just, in that
Oh, great.
letter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
okay, that's okay. Pam and I talked about it yesterday.
Perfect. Sorry.
Farmland, committee. Terry, you're already talking to Nelson.
Okay.
I'm talking to Jack already.
Jack.
Okay, I'm going to see Vern, and I suspect I'll see my wife.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'll get in touch with those two.
Okay.
Who's left?
Reed Miller and Elizabeth Wood.
There was, Jack Mannix had sent us a letter saying, what is his first name?
Noah.
Noah Hoskins was interested.
He was gonna, I think he said he'd bring him in and have him talk with us.
Or, you know, he offered to have him
Right.
do that, but
I would, yeah. So, I can call Reed
okay.
and, would you like to call Elizabeth? Or I can do it if you'd like.
To see if she'll continue
Yeah.
on the, yeah, if you do it, Louis, that'd
Okay.
be great.
So if they want to add a person, is there somebody that, I guess when we call them, we'll find out. If there's somebody that doesn't want to be on.
Mhm.
Is there a number that it's supposed to have?
I don't think so. I think maybe they could have up to 9 if they wanted.
I mean, like the social services committee has a lot of people, the
Um,
cemetery committee, I don't know if
I
there's
don't
a,
think there's any hard number that they need. You know, they're just a group to advise the select board.
Police Advisory Board Liaison, Hugh Warden.
Police Advisory Board liaison. So, we have had somebody on the select board be the liaison to the sheriff.
Mhm. Or the state police. And occasionally they have a meeting where this person would attend.
And so does it want to be a select board member?
Generally,
I
yeah.
would think so.
You know, we get, you know, people concerned about a particular issue, and rather than having a dozen people calling the sheriff, it's, you know, one,
Mhm. So it should
or
be a
having
select board
5
member.
select board members calling the sheriff. It's been,
Mhm.
you know, one person that's the main contact
Mhm.
person to bring issues up.
Is that something you want to do, Terry?
I'd volunteer for that.
Great.
Social Services Advisory Committee.
I can get in touch with them and see who wants to continue.
Well, it's like everybody.
And there's a few that are like on the planning commission and the DRB and conservation, energy,
Right.
recreation board.
Who are
Right
up this
Yes.
year?
I can do the planning commission.
So the two that are 19?
Yeah.
Anna Marie and Brian.
Under the development, I think we already got a letter
From
from
Sam.
Sam that he didn't want to.
Did somebody say both the alternates said they were willing to, I
I
believe?
think I heard that too, yeah. One of them was,
But they're both 1-year terms, so
right,
so I imagine they're gonna both be willing to either stay as an alternate or go as the,
Or move up to fill.
Right.
right.
Yeah, move up to fill the position. I feel like if, I'm feeling like if I'm gonna write that article, I'm not stepping forward to call a lot of people. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm being kind of quiet.
Mhm.
I can do Chad Farnham and Jen Sargent, see if one or wants to move up, and
I can, do you want to split it, I'll do Cammy Elliott.
Okay, good. And that's full, so Conservation Commission. We've got, Bill Johnson and Christopher Olson.
I can call him. Maybe you wanna,
Either way.
You've got him, Terry?
I'll get him.
Alright.
And that's one where Bill Schmidt has said he would
Yes,
like
there's
to
one,
step down, so
Yeah.
there'll be another opening.
And not fill out his term.
Right.
Right.
So that would be one where we appoint someone to fill
Fill.
in until next town meeting.
One year.
So Energy Committee, I'd be happy to ask Alex Wilson and Stan Howe.
Okay, great.
Great.
I can do the rec board.
There's only 2 of them on there now, huh?
Yeah.
Have there been more in the past?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there should be more than 2.
Yeah.
There should definitely be, well, I would say 5 of them.
Mhm.
They,
Wow.
and even if there was more than that would be good.
Mhm.
They split up the sports, try to, so it doesn't put all the burden on 2 people. It's a lot to do what they do just in the sports that they do, kids' sports there, so. So that was.
And is that influenced at all by the land transfer that we did?
No.
No? Okay. So, so I was trying to think of Chad Farnham's name when we were talking about the constable.
He can't
He's-
because he doesn't live in town.
Oh, okay.
He owns property in town, so
I
he
see.
can be on the DRB.
I see,
But to be a
Okay.
constable, you need to be a resident.
I see.
And so he had been a constable for a few years. But Harold would probably be willing to be the constable, don't you think?
Could ask him.
You want me to ask
Could
him?
he
You want me to ask
dispatch,
him
could
to
he
our
dispatch
badge?
a deer? He would do that?
Would he?
Probably would, I don't
You
know.
think? Or are we just gonna?
If I tell him
That's our
to-
criteria.
Yeah. Okay. So what about
Terry asked
Susan
him if she's
Kern
got
as
good
library trustee?
Those are elected
Yep.
positions.
Oh, okay. So
We
don't
do
to
have
worry
some
about
letters
Yep.
from
Yep.
some interested people that we will have to interview.
those. Okay.
And I guess we should have them come to our next meeting. Would that work for everybody, to have the people that sent letters?
Before the Board of Abatement meeting?
How many
Oh, yeah.
letters did we get from, for,
For the library trustees
okay, we got one letter.
And an
right?
auditor?
and an
And then
auditor.
an auditor, yeah.
And we're gonna work on the lister tonight.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could do that.
So it would be two, we talked, 2 people, right?
Mhm.
I think that's
Auditor and library
library
trust.
trustee. And the meeting is at what, 5 o'clock for the,
Abatement.
That was 5:15.
5:50, okay, right.
Yeah, 5:15.
Oh, right.
So that might be,
So it may be too early to have,
I mean, the interviews are only gonna be a few minute interviews.
Yeah.
If-
What do you think what's her name?
Jessica Nelson?
Jessica Nelson. She ran as a write-in candidate for trustee and just about got enough votes.
Yeah, she just missed that.
About
So,
one or so?
I
Yeah.
wouldn't
Think we could just
appoint
Appoint her.
appoint her?
and then maybe have, 5:45, meet with the auditor candidate. I
Okay,
think that
that sounds,
interviewing the
Yeah.
auditor seems like.
that's one I think we definitely should do. So 5:45, I'm gonna say, yeah. Okay. All right. Now, did we wanna talk about the listers And, because we had, Steve Mandel interested, and he wanted to, they have a meeting, what, next Wednesday?
Yes,
And it would be nice if we were going to appoint him, to have him go to that meeting, so. I know Sam, yeah. I know Steve, and, I've seen him on the DRB, he was on the DRB, he was the
Yeah.
chair.
Planning commission.
Planning.
Planning Commission,
Yeah.
that is what I meant, and he was the chair of that for a while, so, I have,
I'd go ahead and make a motion to appoint Steve Mandel to the listers, I guess maybe until next town meeting,
right, then they have to.
Right.
yeah. To fill in a vacancy until next town meeting.
I would second that.
okay, discussion?
I know him from the planning commission also and around town, but it's really Jean's sent us a letter and spoke highly that she thought, well, maybe I can,
Pardon?
maybe you can say
A word or
few
two
words.
about
Well,
Steve.
Well, he was very forward with his questions. He, my biggest thought was, he knows the people in town. He's lived here since the 70s. He's very calm. He seems to be reasonable. And he thought he would really like the job. And the questions that he asked were sincere, and they were questions about certain aspects of the lister job. So I really think that he would be a big plus for our board.
Great.
So you recommend him?
I do recommend him very
Right.
much,
Great.
and I'd like to get him in there tomorrow, if I could.
Well, you just may.
You just
Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor of appointing Steve Mandel to the listers?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you've got him tomorrow.
Will you call him?
I
or-
will certainly call him
Okay.
and let him know.
Thank you very much.
You
And
got it.
I think I know his email, I think, I'll send it to you anyway.
Okay, great.
On all the rest of them that we all took, if you guys can just let me know,
Yes,
yay or nay, and then I can have a
perfect,
list
Okay.
for next time.
perfect.
Okay.
All right. So, that is all the new business.
Do you want to, Nelson, the library trustee now, or you wanna wait?
Oh, yeah, let's do the library trustee. Where was the, it's in,
That's another new business.
this is, yeah, Jessica Nelson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we appoint Jessica Nelson to I suppose as a library trustee until next town meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Well, I haven't met her, but can someone speak to her interests?
She's a library patron. She's very interested in keeping the library going over there. And she had a little write-in campaign and fell just maybe 2 votes short of getting in. So
Sounds good.
she seems enthusiastic, and I don't see, I don't,
Nobody knocking down
nobody
the.
else in line that I can see.
So, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. I will give her a call.
Great.
Let her know. Is there any other appointments that we
need to do right now?
I cannot think of any that we need to do. Okay, so let's move on to unfinished business. Anybody have anything?
Let's see, we have under new business that resolution for Doug.
Oh, right, I am sorry,
That's
correct,
right. It was
yes,
penciled in.
yes, Councilman, I've got it written in up above.
So, Lori let us know that they're having an event, an open house really, to honor Doug Hamilton, having been a lister for 25 years. And she asked that the select board write a resolution for him. And so we have a draft resolution, and with your permission, I'd read it into the minutes and then we vote on it. Okay? Ready to go? This would be a resolution honoring Douglas Hamilton. Whereas Douglas Hamilton has served the people of Dummerston, Vermont with integrity and dedication for the past 25 years as an elected official. Whereas Douglas Hamilton, in carrying out the duties and responsibilities accorded to a lister, has worked diligently with fairness, compassion, and a good sense of humor throughout these 25 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Select Board of Dummerston, Vermont, take this opportunity to express our sincere and grateful appreciation, and hereby extend to Doug Hamilton our congratulations on his well-earned retirement from public office and our best wishes for the years to come. Resolved this day, March 13th, 2019, the Dummerston Select Board.
The motion,
So moved.
Second.
discussion? Gene, you wanna say anything about Doug? Is he a good guy? Is he a good guy? Should we do this?
Yeah, oh, he's a good guy. One of his most famous sayings was when I first started as a lister back in '99. We went to a meeting that was the general public. I think it was a historical society meeting or something, and he was telling everybody that he was riding around the back roads with Gene Knoll. And he just, and I knew then.
You were in for a ride.
He taught me a lot. We got along very well. He knew the boundaries, and I knew my boundaries. And we had a lot of good years, and I will miss him. Really, he's just, he's one of a kind.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of signing?
Aye.
Okay.
Is that a copy that I can,
Yep.
so I can put it word for word in the minutes?
It might even be available electronically, so you don't have to type it. But
Yeah.
All right, moving on to unfinished business. I would move that we go into executive session as provided in Vermont Statute Title I, Chapter 5, subsection 2. The negotiation or securing of real estate purchase or lease options. And there will be, if I can get a second on that.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay, there will be no decision made, so all those in favor to go into executive session?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.